I got this footage during a blizzard to highlight the problem. This is the closest and the only residential neighborhood near the University of Saskatchewan. Look at this, it's mostly detached houses everywhere. But there's this one singular tower obelisk. How much do you suppose they rent the apartments for? Oh, never mind. It's some sort of retirement community up there. If I was chronically ill and nearing the grave, I know the first thing on the agenda is to be within blocks of a school. There's maybe a dozen small walk-up apartments, none of which had vacancies when I moved here. As somebody who's going to that school over there, I chose to live close to it, but all I could find was a basement dungeon, and it's costing me the same amount as the apartment I rented last year, which was in downtown Edmonton in a high-rise. It had a balcony and a pool. It's the same price. West of the university, it's densely populated, for Saskatchewan anyway, across the river. East of the university, they got farmland. I'm not saying they don't need a farm, but does it need to be that large and obstructive? And does it need to be located right there? North of the university, there's vast expanses of undeveloped land anchored by a mall, but nowhere for people to live. I'm not sure if it's also farmland, but as somebody who's not from here, I'm very curious about the story of who owns this land and why they're not selling it to be developed. So this blue area is all there is down here for university adjacent housing. Even excluding the old folks' home, the average age around here seems to be around 77. That's something I don't care for. Not in a jealous way. It's pitiful. What the hell business does a grown man have buying a house next to a university unless he works there? Many of them are very impressive houses, I might add. These are millionaires. And yes, I know there's a prospect of renting out the basement, and can't blame them for wanting to live somewhere centrally located and the like, but their motive seems to be, and cities look like this all around the world. I'm talking about all cities. They see the zip code as a status symbol. I'd do the opposite. I'd put some distance between myself and an institution that is an embarrassment to mankind, but they'd rather masochistically commit themselves to its wrath. The standard urban planning theory, dogmatic pitfalls and all, is better to be applied here than anywhere else, and run wild with it, especially tax breaks and other incentives to build apartments. But with that being said, all we can do is hope that future generations choose to move elsewhere when they're older. I know they're not going to see school for what it is, but they can at least not pride themselves on perpetuating a status quo of jumping through meaningless hoops. I haven't actually spoken to any of these people, and don't have first-hand knowledge. Maybe it's not a matter of pride so much as a matter of not being ashamed, but they should be very ashamed. I know I am. I couldn't imagine being retired, collecting dividends from blue chip stocks, going fishing, wearing slippers and staring at a sunset, and telling people, yeah, I live on University Road or whatever, just 2 blocks from my gynecologist.